Hello, I'm Mr. Hargrave, and this is what you need to know about Star-Lord Annihilation. But first, this very special announcement. Today's video is brought to you by Amazon Coins and the Amazon App Store. If you'd like to save 10% on any of your in-game purchases on any app that's available on the Amazon App Store, including Marvel Strike Force, just scan this QR code that my buddy over here is holding up and you can get the Amazon App Store installed and you can start saving some money today. It's available on all Android devices, super easy to install on like an Amazon Fire tablet or any Windows 11 device. That's your computer. Once you have the Amazon App Store downloaded on your device, you can start saving money on any app available on the Amazon App Store. You can get $100 worth of in-game purchases for $92. If you want to save that full 10%, then you would need to pick up the $500 bundle that you can get for just $450. If you're going to purchase a new character in Marvel Strike Force or whatever else, why not save some money and use the Amazon App Store? Check out the link in the description or scan these QR codes and start saving some money today. So yeah, if you're going to, the offers for Star-Lord Annihilation just came into the game last night. So yeah, if you're going to pick up Star-Lord Annihilation, if you want to use the code, everything is linked down below. It's also in the comment down there, the first comment pinned to the page, if that's something that you're so inclined to do. And you might be inclined to do that, or you might at least be inclined to build Star-Lord Annihilation, because of course, I told you it was safe to build. It is on my list, and I will be having the big unlock guide come out where I kind of explain all this as well. And Star-Lord Annihilation is here as a character that we're going to take to Gear Tier 18, and that's kind of the inspiration for this video, because I'm thinking that I probably will build Star-Lord Annihilation to Gear Tier 18. So if we're going to do that, what are we going to be able to use him for? What will be the point of it? Is he any good? Those are the questions that we seek to answer in this video. And I do have some interesting things to let you know about the pairing of Nova and Star-Lord Annihilation. They do make a nice duo in War. Now, this is still a war-specific character, and a lot of the stuff that, you know, Nova and Star-Lord can do are tied to the Nowhere team. But if you are just going to build Nova and Star-Lord Annihilation for Dark Dimension 6 and ignore the rest of the team like I'm doing, then here's some things you should know, and here's what you'll be able to do with them just as a duo, just the two of them. So let's dig into Nova a little bit before we start talking about Star-Lord, because there are a few notable things about Nova to know. Now, one thing I kind of missed is just how much extra focus he gets. I've been keeping him as a skirmisher, and I don't know, that might still be the case for like Cosmic Crucible, but for War, I think Raider is the way to go, and we're going to see more of that when we start looking at Star-Lord's kit and thinking of these two characters as a duo instead of standalone characters. Now in War, he gets immunity to trauma. He gets immunity to stun. So it's very, very cool. His special is able to remove revive once in War, and it's going to add trauma and safeguard to him and Star-Lord Annihilation. So very cool character. I have really not explored this character enough in War, and there's some very cool stuff he does. But here, let's start talking about Star-Lord Annihilation, because that's the whole point of the thing. I don't know what I said before about him, but for this duo, and really in general, I think Striker is where you want to go with on Star-Lord Annihilation, because he does this really cool thing where with a lot of his moves, he drops his own vulnerable, so he can do his own follow-up attacks. He can act as his own skirmisher, which is really interesting. So he can hit somebody, drop vulnerable, do his follow-up attack. I believe his follow-up attack stacks vulnerable as well. I don't know if his follow-up attack stacks are vulnerable or just the main attack, but hey, look, he's awesome in that regard. And I think you're going to get the most out of him as a striker. His special in war is nuts. It removes immune from the highest damage character who is not the primary target. It blinds, or I don't know if he removes immunity from the highest damage character. He adds blind to the primary target and whoever is not the primary target who has the highest damage. So he drops 2 blinds out there. So it's like an improved Star-Lord because the blinds are a little more targeted. And he gets 1,000% extra focus for that. So those blinds are always landing. His ultimate is really, really fun. And for the purposes of this, you can see that I've maxed everything out with all the tier 4s. Because we're thinking about this character as a tier 18 character. A maxed out character. His ultimate's really fun. It drops trauma to the primary target and adjacent targets who have vulnerable. So anyone who has vulnerable gets a trauma as well. Moving on to his passive. His passive, when he spawns in, he gives offense down to everybody for 2 turns. And he has a Kinney Pride like dodge low health mechanic. So when someone gets at low health, if they're nowhere, only nowhere characters, they get evades. Plus he gives extra focus to the whole nowhere team and even more focus inside of war. So I don't know what kind of value you're going to get out of Star-Lord Annihilation outside of war. I know Nova has a little more value. Resource-wise, this is definitely a character that you're going to want to consider building for Dark Dimension 6 just because he's a skill character who is also cosmic and they're very rare. So let's go see what we can do with these 2 in war. I have built a team around them. I tested all kinds of stuff, all kinds of combinations, and I found my favorite combination. I'm going to show that to you and a few teams that it annihilates. I'm going to tell you right now what it doesn't do. It's not going to beat Gamma. It's not going to beat Apocalypse with Darkhold. It's not going to beat Nowhere. It's not going to beat Heroes for Hire. It's not going to beat Underworld. For that, you're going to need the full Nowhere team. The full Nowhere team can beat all those things. Just Nova and Star-Lord Annihilation, I don't really think there's any combination of any 3 characters you can add to these 2 that are going to beat those teams. Now, if you add one more Nowhere character, maybe that's a follow-up video we can make. For the purposes of this test, you can see I've taken both these characters to level 95. Nova, 7 yellow, 4 red. Star-Lord Annihilation, 5 yellow, 4 red. Higher than what I normally test at. Because this is kind of like for the future. Tier 17 on both. This is for the future. And the future of the game might be different. There might be 3 characters that we're able to add to these 2 and get more and start beating some of those really high value teams. But there are a few high value teams that this duo handles very nicely. Let me show them to you now. Here is the team that I decided was the best, and that's Star-Lord Doom. I like the combination of Star-Lord and Doom. It's very solid. Star-Lord gives Doom energy. And then Doom is going to give 3 turns to Star-Lord Annihilation because original Star-Lord, and you don't have to build him up, gives Star-Lord Annihilation, because he's a Guardian, extra damage, like an extra 30% damage. So it really superpowers him. I threw Cable in here, hashtag Cable Agenda, just for some extra speed because you don't have to build him either to get his benefit. He's going to give you that speed right away. Dr. Doom is another character that I am recommending that you take to gear tier 18. Probably right away. He's not actually on here, but I do want to bring that up, that if you're going into global, you're probably going to want to actually bring Dr. Doom. So I brought him up to tier 17, level 95 for the purposes of this test as well. That's really just for survivability. And our first test is going to be against Unlimited X-Men. By the way, this is all on the test server. This is not on my live account. Just a heads up on that. I don't got resources to squander like this just for the purposes of testing things. But Unlimited X-Men is a team that my current attack plan in war, which is pretty solid, doesn't really account for. So this team is probably my most desired target for Nova and Star-Lord Annihilation. I'm really not doing anything with Doom. I'm definitely not doing anything with Star-Lord, original Star-Lord. And I really don't have much use for Cable right now in War either, but he's always a good kind of plug and play character. I'm going to open with the Star-Lord special on Gambit because it's going to stun him and apply trauma. It's great like that. Now we have Star-Lord Annihilation, and this is going to drop those blinds. I'm going to get a blind for 2 turns on the primary target. I am going to throw that over here. You know what? It doesn't really matter where I throw it because I'm going to throw it on Gambit and keep him blind. After he comes out of stun, he'll be blind for 2 turns as well. So I like that. Plus, we're going to get the follow-up attack from Star-Lord Annihilation, plus that extra damage from original Star-Lord. I don't know if... Okay, original Star-Lord is going to get to throw energy back to Doom, which is all he's here for. If he gets to take that turn, great. If he doesn't get to take that turn, Doom should clear that stun. And this is why Doom is there, just to kind of prevent any kind of shenanigans going on. If they want to try to tunnel someone down, he's going to take care of that. That Gambit came out of stun, but he's still blind from Star-Lord Annihilation, so that helped take care of him. We're going to go ahead and explode. We've killed half the team. And now here goes Star-Lord Annihilation with his ultimate, which is brutal. And then he's going to follow that up with a basic and another basic, which is going to give, I believe, Nova should get to go up here and get his ultimate. I don't think they're going to be able to take him out. Nova gets a strong heal on his turn, hits his ultimate attack. Star-Lord Annihilation, his special is up again now. We've got blind on Phantom X. We're having a little bit of problem getting through that rogue, but she is gone now. And I'm loving it. I love the way this one works. You know, you got to determine yourself. I don't know at what level this is going to start working, how weak this team needs to be for it to work, but we're not talking about weak characters here. We're talking about characters that we're taking up to the highest levels for Dark Dimension 6. So that's why I powered them up. And there it is. Works great. I tested all of these before this test. I wanted to make sure, and there it is. I'll bring it right back. We'll put an edit in here. Next test is against Rebirth. So I wanted to test a Rebirth team, and they should be ripping them apart. Let's go ahead. And that's what I was going to say, is before I started recording this, I did test a bunch of stuff because I wanted to make sure I was showing you working things. I know sometimes people are like, Mr. Hargrave, that was never going to work. Why were you testing it? I'm like, I had limited time. Tonight I had a good hour here that I spent and messed around with teams so I could show you the stuff that works. All right, we are going to go ahead and hit the stun on Captain Carter. So yeah, when you're seeing these attacks, this is the second time that this stuff has worked. So it's I'm pretty confident about these things working once you get your Star-Lord and Nova running. I'm going to go ahead and put the special right down the middle here and just blind everybody out, all the damage dealers. So this works out really well. I like the turn order on this. We're going to throw up that blind with the other Star-Lord and really just feed that energy to Doom. That's really all we're doing there, is getting that energy over to Doom. Doom's going to go ahead and ultimate, and that's going to pretty much do it, man. I'm telling you right now. We do always want to take out Captain Carter and Captain America when we're fighting Rebirth. Those are our primary targets. That Doom ultimate pretty much did it. Star-Lord's going to clean it up. There you have it. The last matchup I want to show you in this video is against Young Avengers. I like this one as well. I think a lot of people are still using like A-Force and Doom against them. If you never built A-Force, which I never did, this might definitely be a team. I think this might be one of the stronger counters that it has, just because Doom kind of takes care of Young Avengers. I mean, they wiped out. There's a lot of stuff that wipes out Rebirth. Rebirth really isn't that great of a war defense team, but I did like how thoroughly it shut it down for it being a new team. I'm going to get this stun over here on Squirrel Girl. drop that over there. It clears pretty fast, but it leaves that trauma up there, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the blinds over there as well. They're not going to make it very long. They're going to get wiped out pretty fast from this attack, at least from my experience. And then here comes the blinds from, I think the turn order is really nice on this one. The reason why I like this one so much is because they just don't get a turn. Like Young Avengers just doesn't get to go. This team's just faster than them. And Doom's blowing up before they really get to do anything at all, which is utterly devastating. And let's go ahead and throw this at Squirrel Girl just to get rid of her. And then, yeah, it's all over. It's all over. So the one that put up the most fight is definitely Unlimited X-Men. That one was a little bit more of a challenge. Whereas Rebirth and Young Avengers really are just falling apart to the Doom Star-Lord duo. But if you're going to run Doom Star-Lord, it's really nice to have Star-Lord Annihilation there, since he gets passive bonuses from original Star-Lord as well, which is just kind of fun. I'm glad they gave him the Guardian tag. It does open up a little bit of theorycraft, a little baby bit of theory crafting, right? We did a little tiny baby bit of theory crafting with Star-Lord Annihilation and Nova in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of this. Remember, my links are down below. If you're buying anything in Marvel Strike Force, you want to use Amazon coins to do it. It certainly would help support the channel. Another way you can support the channel is by liking, subscribing, ringing the bell. There's a lot of other great videos on this channel, so check them out. And grave diggers, keep digging.